on the Oregon coast, and I put some stickers up in a one town.
So when it comes to large-scale mural cover-ups, make sure that you are always consulting a director for something like that, or you are consulting me. It is something, you know, generally as the activism becomes higher in risk or scale, the more you need to get consultation.
Yeah.
I saw Logan jump into Tumble a couple of times, so he's around hopefully.
Hey, it's Logan.
Hey, sorry.
Hello.
No
worries. I'm a little late too. Alrighty then. So I'm just gonna bring us up to speed. So the total Rosby 4, 5, 6 people on cameras. We'll have the ability to mix it up. You know, if you like, you want to take some photos if you're usually taking video, or if you want to take some video if you're usually taking photos, that's all fine. But during key moments, like during the people getting out of the trucks, getting into the trucks, or the speech, that's where you want to only do what your priority is. So if you're listed as photos, you do photos. If you're listed as videos, you do videos, etc., etc. But even then, it's not a really, really hard and fast rule. I'm going to trust y'all's artistic integrity. So you have pretty full creative freedom. So Vincent, I have thought that you are more experienced with photos, so I listed you as a photo priority. Do you agree with that, or do you think you should be on video? Again, you can do both, but just what you're prioritizing.
I do agree with that.
Okay, cool. Peter, I have you as video priority, because that's what I feel to experience that you're, more specialized with. Would I be correct there?
Yeah, that's fine. I can do mostly video, and then if there's kind of a cool moment to get a photo, I can get that too.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, then I had you as photo, although I don't know, I haven't, seen your skills in action as much, but would you say that's correct, that you're more in line with photos or video? What do you think there?
Yeah, photos.
Okay, cool. Mason I have down for video because he's definitely a video guy. And Jesse, I have you down for photo. Does that sound good, Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay. And Luca, who is with Media to Rise, he's going to be coming as well, and he's going to be on video. And obviously, any video that he takes, we can also use, and vice versa. Okay, so that's 3 photo and 3 video. And again, any one of you can change around at any point in time. We just want to make sure, especially for the speech, that we have people taking photos and people taking videos. So, I'm sorry, man. Jesus, I'm feeling quite under the weather lately. I don't have anything too bad, but I just have a nasty cold. I was the last person in the house to get sick. No, not a goof, just a goof. So Vincent, tell us a little bit more about your skills. When it comes to photos, what do you think, you're uniquely disposed to? What are you very good at? What could we do to help accommodate your skills and get you, the best setup working with the other guys? Or are you pretty much free ready? What can we do?
Yeah, so I feel pretty generalist. My professional experience with photography has been mostly headshots and I guess a little bit of like stock photography. I've done product photography and things like that. But for
aquatic?
Products, like I've done like setup shots.
How are we gonna work that out?
Well, since we don't know what the march is, I'm keeping all my options open. I feel pretty adept at just about everything. I like street photography, so the idea of getting things in motion. My lens is pretty general use, so I can get things from a distance up close. I like the idea of taking some of the Southern Columbia type shots that I've been doing for our network and trying to get some of those localized instruments, what we're trying to do. Overall, it's cool. So I'm pretty open. Like I can move around. So I feel pretty mobile. Working on my cardio. So I guess all over the place.
Yeah, that's something I really want to stress for all of y'all. We are going to have a column of, ideally 200 plus men, which is going to be awesome. And then you need to get you something at the back. You're going to be jogging. You're going to be running up and down this thing. You don't have to be running consistently, but it's a long march, and it's going to be a safe march because we're making it as quick as it needs to be, but it's going to be a long one just because of where we're going. The logistics necessitate a long march. So obviously you don't need to be sprinting up and down trying to get every single shot for every single mile of the march because a lot of the march is going to be pretty dang similar because that's just how marches work. But you need to be mobile, and if you do need to get somewhere, if you do see cool happening, hopefully nothing crazy like happened in the last one, and we've made lots of changes to make sure that doesn't happen, but, say the light catches something just right, say we're turning a corner, and it looks really nice, right, just how the formation of the guy's going, say one of the shield teams gets, is running oak to block traffic, say a guy is doing a standoff with a cop, and it looks really cinematic, right? You want to make sure you can get there as fast as you can, so cardio is huge. I want you all to be, trying to run a few miles a week at least, just around your neighborhood, whatever it takes, just to get yourself in that good thing. So Vincent, close-ups, like almost portrait photography, I think would be really cool. Something which is great for our edits and promotional content and stuff like that is really cool, almost headshots, but, almost like a, kind of like from the chest up, shots of activists, in motion, sort of posing, in crowds, in groups, in lines, something very idealistic, proud, right? You should be looking for shots like that where you can get close-ups. And when you talk about product photography, I think something that could translate into is like the details, right? When you're talking about, the details of guys' uniforms and stuff like that, where you got the jacket, you got the patches, you got the gloved hands holding onto the shield or the flagpole. Of really interesting detail on the guys, and it's not just like taking a picture of a guy, up against a green screen or something, because you have, 100 people behind him in shot, in frame, and that they might be out of focus, but you can still tell it's there. There's depth to the image. So I think trying to get those types of, trying to get those close-ups could be very good. Radio, that makes for good promotional stuff. People like to see it, and it helps, to add a face to the thing, because obviously no one else has a face there, and I think that could be very good. And so I think close-ups of the gear, the icons, the equipment, and also portraits of the guys and myself and so on, even and especially other camera guys, so you can get that cool angle of how the sausage is made, as it were. Does that all sound good to you, Vince?
Yeah, totally agree.
Hell yes. All right, so Peter, so you do video, and you're mostly just pretty versatile video. So what your equipment? You said you have like a gimbal sort of thing, right?
I do. It's a little bit delicate. I got to get a screw, so I'll place an order for that. But
okay.
It's if that doesn't work, I can just run and then get a still position, and then run and then get kind of, because without the gimbal, shots are very hectic.
Are you certain, like 100%, if you place that order, that you're going to get the screw or whatever it is in time?
I wouldn't know, but I do have another camera stabilizer that I could use that's more DIY.
Okay. Sure. Well, just let us know, and if we can get that done, super soon, that would be awesome, because we are going to want a lot of stabilized shots, because all the photo guys, when they take video, it's going to be shaky. So yeah, I know Luca and Mason are going to have, they're going to have gimbals. They bought some new ones. Or Lucas had one, Mason has a new one, so that's really good, which almost makes it more important that the rest of our video cameras have gimbals as well. So see what you can do with that, and let us know how that works. Logan, so what does your experience usually comes down to photos? You know, what is your experience? What is your equipment? What can we do to get you in the best environment for creating and capturing high quality moments? Go ahead, Logan.
I kind of have similar experience to Vincent.
Yeah.
And everything you said pretty much sounds to me what I'm looking for. Much else more than that. I do a lot of picture stuff as well. A lot of nature support doing that with everything you said.
There'd be much of it going on in this one.
I mean, I try to look for that when I can, but
yeah, I think so. Definitely, I think close-ups are good. Sorry, I think close-ups are good. You could try to work in, when the nature stuff. I think, try to work in a little bit more wide angles and stuff like that, because the march is going to be big. It's going to be long, and we have to capture the scale.
Sure.
So I'm gonna have you kind of mix close-ups and wide angles, but it's gonna be kind of interesting, because what I try to do is we want to capture whenever we have a line of guys or a column or a marching angle. I always want to capture. You either want to do a close-up and you capture like 1% of the march, right, with one guy, right? Or you want to capture like 90% of the march. But you never want to get the whole column in frame, because then you can actually stop and see how big it is, right? But the back of the column or the front of column going off, out of frame almost, because it gives you the greater sense of depth and scale, and it just feels like, man, it could go on for another 200 guys, right? And it's a little bit of movie magic, but I really like how it makes things look. So definitely be thinking about that. And you might have to get pretty distant to, and this goes for any of you guys, if you need to run off to the other side of the street to get a shot, if you need to run across a little bit of a field, or hop over, a little ledge or something like that, you need to call out. Provided there's any opposition. If we're walking through and there's freaking no one on the ground, like there was, for example, in January or whatever for the pro-life march in D.C., where the city was just a ghost town, then obviously it doesn't really matter, because your safety, the birds aren't going to hurt you. But if there are people around and stuff like that, you want to make sure you call out to one of the SHIELD team leaders on the sides of the march, and you say, hey, SHIELD team lead, I need an escort, and then he will send one of his guys with one of those light shields to come and they'll just shadow you just to make sure you're fine. And once you get back close, you just send him back to his team. Pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you might need to get pretty distant to get a good wide angle shot. And you might need to find, and this goes for anybody, you might need to find an elevated, things, because there are going to be things like benches, there are going to be things, raised ledges and kind of little embankments and stuff like that along the route. So be keeping an eye out for those. If you see something like that and you want to get an elevated shot, do that. Because remember, the march isn't just going to be as tall. It's not just going to be about 5-6 feet tall, as tall as the guys are, right? Remember, the flagpoles are 10 feet tall. And the banners might be even a little bit taller than that because of how they're being held, right? So the march is tall. In order to get a good shot, get over guys' heads, you might want to try to stand up on top of something. So think about that. So, Logan, I'm going to have you doing a mix of close-ups and wide angles if you can.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mason is going to video, and I know what he's doing. Jesse, so tell us a little bit more about your experience and what do you think you'd be good at?
So the majority of experience is going to be landscape shot for photo.
Okay.
A little bit of experience with some of the portraits. It's not nearly as extensive as the landscape shot. Of course, I do filming for activism, so I've been learning how to keep it on composition and shot and like just on the subject.
Sure.
Definitely more focused on photography. Oh.
Okay. So I'll have you focus on wide angles then. So we have a pretty good thing. Vincent's doing close-ups, Logan's doing both, and Jeff doing wide angles. So we have all bases covered.
So when you're saying wide angles, it's can you specify what you mean by that in this context?
Lots of people in frame.
Lots of people in frame.
Big, wide, you know, the whole picture, you know. Obviously, and remember, these are just priorities. These are things that you're trying to focus on. But, you know, if you see a good shot, go for it. This goes for all of y'all. You know, no matter what it is. If you see a moment that you think, you know, you want to do a little something different for it, absolutely go for it. I'm trusting y'all's eyes. But you know, like if, it's just, we want to make sure we get every kind of content out of this, right? Because we want our content to work harder for us. So the more we get, the more niches we can fill, the more promotional, you know, content that we can publish, the more we get out of it, right? We want our content to work as hard as we do, essentially. So we want a good variety so we can fill all those niches, so we can publish everything everywhere and we can reach everybody. So thinking about, you know, big angles, show the scale of the mark, right? You know, zoom out all the way and see how many guys you can get into it. Get angles of depth, you know, act like it's a train, right? You know, you ever see photos of trains? That's what the column's going to be, right? Get a dynamic angle of the guys going all the way back, stretching off screen, right? Get an angle of, you know, one of them monuments. You know, we're going to be passing a bunch of monuments. There's going to be huge buildings in the background, foreground. Tell you exactly where we're going. I feel like you probably figured it out by now. You know, there are going to be some pretty big monumental architecture. There's going to be big things. There's going to be tons of stuff going on. There's going to be crowds. There's going to be columns, right? There's going to be obelisks. There's going to be trees, water, you know, tons of stuff. So you get the scale, get the setting. You know, make someone feel like they're there. That's what wide angles I'm going for. Yeah. Sorry. So Luca, of course, Luca's been doing a lot of video. They might be doing another Meteorize type project for this one, or maybe it'll just be him helping us out. But either way, we get to use all that footage no matter what. Do we know, any of us, how many GoPros are going to be in use?
No, I can contact one of my Colorado guys. I can tell him to this GoPro.
Oh yeah, anybody who has one, anybody who has a GoPro should be bringing it, because I mean, there's no reason not to have one. It's an extra angle, right? And who knows what we're going to capture. So ask if any of you know a guy with a GoPro, tell him to bring it. Also, Jesse, would you mind asking Norman, Wisconsin? I think he said he was going to bring some GoPros. If you wouldn't mind messaging him and reminding him about that, or someone else can do that. You already have like 10 hats. Peter, why don't you message Norman, Wisconsin, and ask him about GoPros and get back to me on that, okay?
Okay.
Cool beans. Okay. Okay. All right, that's a lot of what I wanted to go over. I just wanted to give you all those assignments. Do any of you have any? I know Peter says he has that thing that he needs to get to fix up his stabilizer. Do any of you guys have anything else that you need to do as far as your equipment goes to become fully operational? Is there any impediments to that? You know, would you be ready to go tomorrow if you had to be, or waiting on anything? Tell me what's up.
As far as stuff, I'm going to get an extra battery, have longer life.
Definitely.
Other than that, I'm pretty much ready to go. Use my kit, I think. Yeah, maybe bring a telephoto in case, like, I see something that I don't really take to use it.
Yeah, definitely. All of you, I want you to bring extra SD cards.
Definitely.
Yeah, this goes for everybody. I would bring, you know, I mean, if you have like a 126 gigabyte or whatever, then you probably are fine with one. But, you know, if you only bring like a 16 gig SD card and we're halfway done and the speech is going on and you run out, you know, that's going to be bad news bears, right? So, you know, you don't want to have to be running around trying to find out who has the spare. So make sure I would bring, you know, plenty of gigs for your SD cards and an extra battery. You really, because, where we're camping, there's nowhere to charge a battery, right? That's not we're not like camping at nice cabins with outlets or anything. So you need to bring I would say one extra battery. Also, it's going to be cold, right? Because it's wintertime, obviously. The cold does have a way of draining batteries quite significantly. So I don't know how it works. It's freaking science, man. But bringing an extra battery or even two would not be a bad idea. Bring your charger just in case. If any one of you has an adapter where you could charge something in a car, that would be good to do on any of the driving sessions. But just be thinking about that, and you all want to get kind of your own little backpack together. Try to get a light backpack that has, everything you need as far as your camera gear. What if you're thinking, adapter, extra batteries, extra SD cards, right? Whatever lenses you need, right? Whatever you need, right? Get it all together and make sure that you're equipped. Also, do any of you not the Chevron high yellow vest yet?
I don't have it. Can you link it in the chat? I can order it now.
Sure.
Okay.
If anyone does have it, do you have the link to it? Mason has the link, but he's sleeping right now. If any of you has the link, could you please post that in the chat and tell guys to get it? If not, I'll just tell Mason to do it when he wakes up.
I believe I can pull it out.
Yeah, if you ordered on Amazon or whatever, you can just check your previous orders or something.
I think it was Walmart.
Okay. Yeah, that works too. Either way. Hey, Norman, I had a question for you, Norman.
What's that, Thomas?
You said something about GoPros. Do you have a GoPro, and will you be bringing it?
I have more than one GoPro, and I will be bringing both of those GoPros. Actually, I think I have 3 of them.
All right, so I'll put you down for 3 then. It might be a good idea to potentially get one of those to Benjamin, because he's going to be kind of like a forward scout role. So maybe he could get some very far off shots of everything going on. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. Maybe he should be further away. But either way, these guys that are in the room right here are going to be our camera team. And once we show up, just make sure you keep those GoPros ready on you. Make sure they're fully charged. I don't know if they need like extra batteries or whatever, but probably not. Just make sure you have them all ready and set up and ready to go. And day of or morning of, I want you to make sure to find the camera guys. We're gonna call everybody out with GoPros. And we're gonna make sure they all get situated. Make sure to write your name on them somewhere. Norman, Wisconsin. Write it on the back, or put it on some duct tape, strap it to the vest harness or whatever. Just make sure that there's no chance it ends up in the hands of somebody else. Yeah, we'll put you down for 3, okay?
Yeah, man. Whatever you need, I'm there.
All right, cool beans. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Sure. I'll see you very soon.
Yep, absolutely. Bye-bye. Bam. Okay. So we got Norman, Wisconsin down for 3. Who's the Colorado guy who has 1, Jesse?
1 GoPro.
Yeah. You said a Colorado guy?
Message.
Calvin?
Jim. Yeah.
Calvin has 1. So he's bringing 1 GoPro.
Yes.
I think Michael, Texas has 1. Cool beans. Yeah. All right. Cool heckin' beans, Reno. Okay. All right. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that I can help them out with?
I have a question regarding the uniform. Is there any uniform requirements other than the vest? Are we showing up in the standard blue jacket, tan hat, like everybody else?
Yeah, standard everything. If you find that, because I know that if you find that the brim of the standard hat can be a bit annoying when you put up the camera to your eyes and all that stuff, you can obviously you can skip out on sunglasses, right? Because you couldn't
see.
Yeah. So don't worry about sunglasses, of course. And if the hat brim bothers you, some guys kind of like it because it gives you an extra shade for the lens. But if that bothers you, you can go with a tan like beanie, like tactical cap. And I can actually give you all a link for one of those. Or you can go for like a boonie hat, like with the floppy brims, so that doesn't get in the way. But that's up to you. But if you're fine with the regular hat brim, that's fine. Just know that if you do switch the hat, you might be able to have a bump cap insert fit well, and that might put you at slightly higher risk for getting knocked on the head by a screwdriver or something. But again, it's you will have an escort if you ever need one, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But it just comes down to personal preference.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, and if y'all look on Amazon or whatever, you can just look up like tan tactical hat, like tactical beanie or whatever, and then they'll have like 511 or Condor brand ones that are that actually have the patch spots and everything. We actually have some of those here at the house, but you can get some of those. They're very, very nice. Okay, any other questions? Anything I can help with? I'm here. I'm at your service. I will answer all questions. Go ahead.
The rolls are for the day of. Is there they were getting on Friday, but it's on Saturday.
Saturday,
right?
yeah. So everything's happening on Saturday. Friday and Sunday are exclusively for travel. And actually, scratch that. I do want y'all to be taking some pictures and videos of travel if your travel is going to be interesting. So I know some of y'all are going to be flying and some of y'all are going to be driving. So be taking. Hey Norman, what's up?
Hey, I'm just supposed to meet with Jesse tonight, so I'm here.
Okay. Can you just give us a few minutes?
Yeah, we should be done.
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
Cool. I will leave and I will wait for him. Sorry.
No, it's really Jesse's fault.
Yeah, I'm just doing all the things. So.
All right. All right. So I want some cool pics. Y'all have all seen the Media to Rise PF documentary, right?
Yeah.
You know that cool clip of the like the bag getting packed and jump cuts with the zippers and the stuff getting put in, and you have the plane and all that stuff. You know that little clip?
Yeah.
If y'all could get some cool shots like that, and I want crisp audio. I want the video to be able to start really early, like with all the guys traveling to the event. So I want shots of bags getting zipped up. I want shots of jackets getting stuffed into duffel bags. I want shots of van doors sliding closed, right? I want shots of planes lifting off the runway, I want shots of y'all pulling into the security checkpoint, in the dead of night, with some guy shining a flashlight in and asking for $20 because that's how it works. So essentially, film everything. Film everything. Right. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Matt, can you ask the security guy to cinematic coming in?
Oh, he'll be acting cinematic no matter what.
Hey.
I pick only the most cinematic gentleman for that. But yeah, so you get everything. And even if y'all are feeling super duper cool and maybe you stop at a gas station and you want to spend like 4 minutes getting a shot of like a rental vehicle like traveling down the road, like just filming, so you're at a gas station or whatever, you fill up, walk out to the side of the road, tell the guys in the van or whatever to drive past, and then just make a block, and you get a shot of them driving past. That would be cool. Again, not the most necessary thing, but it would be cool. Stuff like on the dash, I want travel shots, I want checkpoint shots, I want camping shots. We're going to be doing tons of drilling. We're going to be doing tons of stuff. We're not going to be doing much of anything before the actual march, besides drilling. This isn't going to be like Philadelphia where we have a whole day to go. We are going to be drilling, and then we are going to be going, and then once we get back, we have the fun time. So it is going to be business, but y'all don't have to drill, obviously, because y'all aren't going to be in the column. So, please, use that early morning drill session to get tons of video. I mean, y'all have seen all the great photos that we put up on Sons of Columbia about all the drilling sessions, at that campsite in New Jersey. That's great stuff, so really use that as an opportunity to hone your skills, but don't tire yourselves out. All your SD cards doing just that. But get a lot of stuff, because we want, this is going to be this is going to be our third national event, right? If you couldn't already tell, everybody from everywhere is going. And our last national event was almost 2 years ago, and it is still something which has defined the organization, right? Think about that. So this is something which could define us for 2 years to come, right? So how hard do we want to work for us to define our actions, to tell our stories, to showcase our work, right? So we need to make sure that everything that we're capturing in these moments, everything we're accomplishing, can really reflect the amount of effort that is going into this, right? We want a video, documentation that is going to stand the test of time, right? In quality and in comprehensive capturing of the moment. So definitely be thinking about all that. Have any other questions?
That's it for me. Sounds good though.
Yeah, absolutely. We can of course have extra meetings between then and now, but it's pretty much it's pretty straightforward for y'all once you got the basics down. Anything else? I can answer, I will answer every single question to the best of my ability. Going once. Was that Logan?
No, I was like, come on, guys. I know you got something. No.
Someone has something. Vincent, give us a question.
I don't think I have any questions. I think I'm good. I only have one concern, which is that in our network, we don't have a lot of people who are of driving age or rental vehicles. So I am one of the rental vehicle drivers, but I'm sure I can make time for getting some shots regardless.
Even if you don't, other people are going to pick up on that. So that's not a huge deal. Even if you only get shots of like airport stuff, totally fine. And even if you don't get shots of any of that stuff, other guys are going to get a few. It's not something we need necessarily like 10 angles of, right? But yeah, just do what you can. And that kind of goes for all of you guys. If there's something which comes in with travel or like, making sure everybody can get there, that can totally supersede your camera work. It's just as long as all of you are doing what you can, when you can, with what you have, we're going to have more than enough. It's just making sure guys have the right setup and the right priorities, about what content they're trying to capture. All right, anything else before we wrap up and I go chug some more Benadryl? All right, thank you all so much. I will talk to you all later. Good luck, good night, good luck. Stay safe.
I feel better, Thomas.
Oh, I feel great. I have the love of the nation coursing through me.
There it is.
See ya. Bye-bye.